Thanks, Steve, and I'd just like to welcome everyone this morning, and a big thank you to anyone in the room who has previously hosted a fundraiser, and if you're thinking of hosting a fundraiser, I hope that you'll take a minute and stop by our booth. We have all kinds of tools for you, and we're going to be talking about some of those tools. We're going to have two very honored guests speak this morning and share their fundraising stories, but first I'm very excited to share with you a brand new video that's been 1 year in compilation. After receiving funding from 3 grants to produce this video, it's going to be part of a series of videos that will be able to help educate and inspire and provide tools and vehicles for all of you to use for fundraising across the country. So I hope you enjoy the video.
Austin was very happy, running around, physically active.
Where's Austin?
He was just like any normal 2-year-old. You don't have this thought that there's this big issue.
From 7 to age 13, many misdiagnoses. They thought he had muscular dystrophy. They thought he had just a host of different things.
We walked in and there was like 8 doctors in white coats, and I thought, this is really weird, like what is going on? And then they said, your son has MPS.
You're scared to death, for him, and you just don't know what to expect.
We had never heard of mucolipidosis. We had never heard of even the word storage disease.
Okay, so what do we do? Tell me where I need to go to get the treatment to fix it. This was my biggest thing. Let's fix this. Everyone's silent in the room. And when they say, well, there's no treatment and there's nothing we can do, in fact, the prognosis is terminal. You kind of go numb and you sort of, sorry, you don't really want to believe it.
Your body is full of different enzymes. These are the hammers, the screwdrivers, the saws. These are the pieces of tools that help you build your body and break it down. And so depending on which ones you're missing, you have a different effect on the body.
Mucopolysaccharidosis and mucolipidosis are progressive diseases. A child is unable to remove the waste from their cells. Those cells begin to implode, swell up, create storage throughout the entire body.
The heart gets bigger and their features get coarse, their lips get bigger, their airway gets bigger and coarse and tight. Their lungs get full of this stuff and it's almost like they have asthma. Their joints get restricted and they can't straighten them. And then in the brain this happens as well, and it causes progressive intellectual disability.
We don't really know what is it about the mutation or the amount of storage material that determines why someone has neurologic disease and some other patients don't.
They're born normally. They'll gain normal milestones, so your child will learn to talk. Your child will learn to walk. And then progressively lose those things.
He knew a lot of his letters, the colors.
Animal sounds. Physically was able to kick a soccer ball forever. In the backyard.
In the San Filippo child, a lot of the cells that end up being damaged are in the brain.
When he was, about 7.5 years old, he became almost completely nonverbal. Austin's maximum kind of mental development capped out at about 2.5 years old. Now today, he would score about at the 1.5-year-old level, even though he's 9.5 years old.
The parents are watching their child deteriorate in front of their eyes and are powerless most of the time to do anything about it.
Spencer did walk. He would run, played baseball, just like a lot of the other kids. Since it's a progressive disease, all of that has just, his condition has gotten worse. And he's been in a wheelchair since 3rd grade, and he's a freshman in high school now. He's got a lot of joint issues and joint pain. His hips are permanently dislocated. He's got a heart condition. He's got some problems with his lungs. Most of it is all physical. We've been very lucky and blessed that he hasn't been affected developmentally.
Which I'm about to use. I finished first!
Spencer and his sister are very close. Her role, I think she figured it out herself, has been his protector.
Sometimes when I wake up at night when my leg hurts, sometimes my mom and dad don't wake up right away, so she'll scream and tell them that Spencer needs help.
That's your ball! Go, go, go!
All the way, all the way!
There you go, all the way!
Help her!
You can do it, you got it! I like to root for my sister when she plays her soccer or stuff that she is interested in, because she can probably go really far.
Like, even though he has that pain every day, he has a smile on his face. He's always happy, encouraging me, and I try to encourage him.
There's no treatment or cure for his condition, unlike some of the disorders. It's just keeping the kids comfortable and dealing with whatever orthopedic or health issues that come up.
Dr. Neufeld had been working on the MPS disorders for 30 years. Now we were at that threshold, at that moment, when you could do something about this disease. It turned out to be difficult, but starting in 1991, we were able to get to the first patient in 1997.
When the enzyme is administered intravenously, it gets into cells. It allows the cells to function more normally.
Today we have treatments for MPS 1, MPS 2, MPS 6.
Enzyme replacement therapy has to be given for life.
It's not a cure, but it's able to put some halting to the disease's progression.
Can you say that it's a life-saving treatment? Yes, definitely.
They both take their IV pumps back to their bedroom and they go to sleep. And when the treatment's over, they want to be unhooked so they can go to Disneyland or whatever else they have planned for that day.
It's kind of weird because, like, the grim reality of it is that most people afflicted with this don't live past, their early 20s. So I'm now 24, and you've essentially been given a second chance, a new lease on life.
Currently, we don't have a treatment for MPS 4A, 4B, for MPS 7, for MPS 3, and for mucolipidosis.
We're specifically testing for MPS 4, Morchio 4A at this point. If the data looks good and supports approval sometime late 2013, there would be a therapy available.
The reality is that there are still some symptoms that don't respond well to enzyme, and in particular, we still have not yet treated the brain. It is harder to treat the brain than it is to treat physical disease.
What the blood-brain barrier is designed to do is to keep things out, to protect the brain cells. But what it also does is it keeps mechanisms out that you want to cross the blood-brain barrier can't get in.
We're working on a way to develop an enzyme treatment using the cerebrospinal fluid as a delivery system.
That's a major issue that researchers struggle with right now.
As far as looking at pictures when they were younger, it's difficult. Russell used to smile and laugh, and he used to run. He lost his mobility about when he was 9. She's starting to now lose her mobility as well. She's not jumping on a trampoline anymore, and we had to put Russell in a wheelchair, and then about less than a year later, we had to put him with a feeding tube because he quit being able to use the muscles, and she's starting to do that now. No, not your fingers. There we go. There we go. Everything just atrophies. It's devastating.
It is absolutely heartbreaking to know that the natural order of things is not going to be followed. That is, children bury their parents. Parents don't bury their children. And in most of these MPS families, it is the latter, as it was in my family.
As far as treatment goes for MPS 3, it's a race against time. Hoping, believing, and praying for it every day.
The mission of the National MPS Society is to find treatment and cures for the MPS and ML disorders, and also to support families.
By having national meetings and also supporting local meetings, it allows people not to feel so isolated.
For the first time, you're sitting with a parent that knows exactly what you're going through.
People ask us how we do it. And there's, we've got our faith, we've got our family, we've got the MPS Society.
They were really instrumental in advocacy with the FDA and the federal government, getting approval for certain drugs, getting federal funding for research.
Basic science is critical because if we don't have new discoveries, we have nothing to translate. We have nothing new to bring to the clinic. And so that, too, is funded by the National MPS Society.
The National MPS Society has raised millions of dollars over the years through walk-run programs, family events. They've gotten extremely creative, and we've been able to take research from the lab and move it into clinical trials. But we still need to do more. Every child deserves to be saved.
It's pretty fun. Yo-yoing is pretty good. You can do it sitting down. This one is called the Eiffel Tower.
Spencer has a very positive outlook on life, despite the challenges and the pain that goes with that.
I pray almost every day that they'll find a cure for his disease.
I really want to get a good GPA in high school so I can get to a good college and have a good future. I look forward to when they maybe find a cure, and but that might not be for maybe many years, but I'll try not to let that stop me and stop me from achieving my goals.
Rare diseases have this tremendous disadvantage that very few people have them, and there's very little public interest in them. And so you're always fighting an uphill battle.
It's not like treating cancer or diabetes where there's millions and millions of people.
But with these rare diseases, we have a chance to do something profound and meaningful, to transform lives. We could be doing more with the science we already have.
We won't stop fundraising until there's a cure. My daughter is going to be faced with these choices. She's going to potentially have a child with MPS, and I want her to know that even if she has a child born with this gene, that's okay, because we have a cure for it, honey, and don't worry.
Sponsor a Child for a Cure is going to go into its third formal year. This is a program. We've heard from a number of families that wanted to be able to participate in a walk-run event and aren't able to get to one throughout the country. And last week, 1,500 postcards were mailed out to all of our friends and our membership and donors to participate and sponsor a Child for a Cure. It's your opportunity to be able to have a runner run on behalf of your family at an event, and you can raise money to sponsor that runner. It's just a very heartfelt type of program. The runners usually race after the kids because they all want to run for the child, and we've had a terrific response to it. We've raised $40,000 this way, and I should actually say you have raised $40,000 this way, and we certainly are excited to see this program launch again. So watch for that coming out into your mailbox, and we also have sign up at the fundraising booth along with postcards. A new program that we're going to be launching September 1st, and this again came from our membership asking us year after year, could we do something, is that we're in the process and we have begun the integration of something called donor pages, and now your family is going to have the ability to have their web page on the National MPS Society's web page as a donor page for a fundraising event you might like to do, or maybe you would like just to have a call to action among your family and your friends, and you'll be able to share your story, provide some photos, and have that singular type of opportunity to raise money on a scale that you feel comfortable with. We're really excited about it. And again, we have the sign-up sheets outside for you. We're going to launch the program September 1st, and anyone that's at the fundraising booth, or you can come up and talk to me, we can tell you all about it. But we're real excited. This came from our membership saying, we really want to do more. Could you help us? Well, we've done that. There are also a number of other ways that you can give at the National MPS Society, and you'll find all of that information on our website. But we have our annual fund, planned giving. We have other fundraising events that maybe that you live close by. I'd like to not take any more time up here, but move right into our speakers. We're honored to have two speakers today. Our first one will be Brooke Carter. She's from the New England area, and her family put on the Action for Aiden walk-run event last year. And then we're going to follow that up with Lisa Todd, who had a fundraising event 2 weeks ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico with her family and with her husband. And she will talk about her Ask event that she did and what type of support that they had as well at that event. So first I'd like to bring forward Brooke Carter.
Hi, everybody. As Terry said, my name is Brooke Carter, but I'm actually better known as Auntie B these days with my family. My older brother and sister-in-law have 2 children with a third on the way. Their firstborn is Aiden. He actually just turned 4 years old yesterday. And then we have Avery, who's 20 months old, and they have a healthy little boy due in November. Aiden was my family's first grandchild, my first niece-nephew, so he very, very quickly became the center of our world. It was amazing how just a simple gathering or lunch revolved around what new he was saying or doing or playing with. Aiden was diagnosed with Hunter syndrome when he was 15 months old, and I think we all remember that day very, very clearly. A day full of sadness and wonder how something like this could happen to such an amazing little boy. With all that said, Aiden is an absolutely incredible little man. I am in awe every time I get to spend time with him. He is beyond smart, sweet, caring, full of energy, and happy. To me, it seems completely unfair that a 4-year-old has been through all that he's been through. Most likely he's been to the doctor more than me, and I'm 29 in a couple months. But every single infusion and doctor's appointment and surgery or just follow-up appointment, he has the biggest smile on his face. Every time I'm with him, I wish I could take it away. Many people say that I'm an action person. I don't like things being out of my control. So I want to do anything I can to make it better. I felt really helpless with Aiden's diagnosis, as I'm sure my family did too. There was nothing we could do. Jen and my brother Tripp both said they always wanted to raise money and awareness, but with 2 kids, their life was crazy. It was too difficult, and timing couldn't have been more perfect. 6 months after his diagnosis, I had 3 months off. I was starting school full-time in the fall, getting my MBA, so I called up Jen, my sister-in-law, and I said, let's do this. Let's raise awareness. Let's raise money. I want to help you achieve what you want to do. And that is where Action for Aiden was founded. It was honestly one of the best weekends of my life. I can't describe the emotion and the feeling and the happiness of that weekend. We actually took a full year to plan it. I had those 3 months off and I wanted to really lay the foundation. So we gave ourselves a full year being, full-time in school and with 2 kids. It was what we wanted to do. I don't necessarily think you need it, but it was really helpful for us. Some tips is to stay very, very organized. We had this massive Excel spreadsheet that documented every dollar that came in, their name and their address, so we could follow up with them after the event and say thank you with a card. We had roles. I think this sort of happened by chance. It really was Jen and I, day in, day out, that did this. And she was local in the area, so she was on the street every day, talking with people, getting corporate sponsors, raising awareness about Hunter syndrome. While I was in Massachusetts collecting the donations that came in, and I helped with the website and getting the location logistics set up. We thought we'd just give it a shot. We thought, okay, maybe we'll raise $10,000, you never know. Little did we know we'd have over 350 participants and raise over $100,000. It was unbelievable. Some other tips for planning an event is to pick the right people to work with. I was so fortunate to work with my sister-in-law, Jen. That weekend we looked at each other and we said, wow, we haven't killed each other, and we haven't seen the worst side of each other. In fact, we're 10 times closer, and I couldn't have wished for a better outcome, and I wouldn't have wanted to do this event with anybody else. We're on the same page. We had the same goal. We wanted to achieve the same thing. And we were open to the same ideas and suggestions, and it made having the event and working on the event that much better. Secondly, I would also suggest to make your event a family event. As you can see, we had a stage. We were fortunate enough to get Wayne from Maine, who was one of my nephew's favorite musicians. He came and performed. We had a silent auction, so we had a table with so the adults could bid on items while the kids were dancing and singing. We also had a bouncy house, which was great for the kids jumping around. We obviously had a limit of how many kids could be in there at a time. And we also had Home Depot. They came and they set up a woodworking table. Everything I just named was free. They all were donated. Their time, the resources, the energy was all free. So ultimately, the cost of putting on the event was minimal. Every dollar we raised went towards research for a cure. And lastly, the event was from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we had the 5K walk run. We had a timer so people could qualify, which brought out a lot more people. But we had all the events and activities, and it was over lunch. We had a local meat shop that donated all the burgers and dogs as well as their time, and they came and grilled it. So we had a full meal for everybody. We had a family rate, so it brought full families out to enjoy the entire morning. And I really think that led to a lot of the success of the event. And lastly, as a tip, is create some sort of contest. You can use this in any way you like, but we chose to do this with fundraising. We had a family friend that donates $2,500 a year to different charities, and he gave the full $2,500 to us. With a goal of $10,000, we were blown away that possibility was there. But he said, I will give you the full $2,500 if you find enough people to raise an additional $2,500 in the month of February. Of course, the shortest month of the year. So I quickly drafted an email that talked about what we were doing, the event, and how even $1 will help us. Let's all band together and let's raise $2,500, meaning we would raise $5,000 in 1 month. Unbelievable. I sent it to everybody I knew, Jen, my family, Jen's family. We sent it to our entire contact list. And I loved checking the mailbox that month, because every single day, more and more money came in. And we were able to raise $23,000 in that 1 month. It was beyond our wildest dreams. We couldn't believe it. And just a simple contest of one guy putting up $2,500 created $23,000. So, in conclusion, I am extremely proud to be Aiden's aunt, and he's inspired me, and I know he will inspire other people in his future. So if you're ever wondering why you should fundraise, just think of your child's story or someone you know or the stories you hear today or Aiden, and look at that smile and look how happy he is. And I genuinely don't think you'll wonder why you're doing what you're doing. The feeling is amazing, and it is worth every minute. So let's come together and let's raise money for research for a cure. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Todd, and I am glad that Brooke ended her talk the way she did, because I wanted to mention that I was here last year, 3 weeks after my son was diagnosed. And I was really inspired by these talks and these conversations today, and so I hope that you take that away with you and that you're inspired to go out and make a difference. And that's whether it's a very small event like a lemonade stand that your kids want to do, or a big event like these. Every single dollar, as Terry mentioned, is so important. So I hope that you walk away out of this room and think, wow, I want to do something, no matter how big or how small. So I came up with this idea while I was at the conference last year, running on the treadmill during our Friday afternoon break. And I had done a similar event as a volunteer on some other nonprofits that I'd been involved with, and I'm just going to take a minute to talk about the type of event that it is. And we actually held this event about a little less than 2 weeks ago, so it just happened. This is our invitation. So the type of event that we held is called an Ask event, and I didn't make that up. It's a copyrighted type of event, and Terry Axelrod is a big-time fundraising consultant that has used this type of event with many nonprofits. And the concept of the event is very different from other types of fundraising events. It's not about the food or the walk or the stuff. It's about coming to a free event to learn about something. So people knew they were coming to a free event to learn about MPS. They knew it was a fundraising event, but they were able to come free of charge and learn, and that's why it's called an Ask event. And the goal is to inspire people to want to give if they choose to do so. So it's typically a 1 to 2 hour event. And I will tell you, the reason that we did this with another organization I was involved in is we were doing a lot of golf tournaments and things like that that take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And this is a type of event that doesn't take a significant amount of work relative to some other types of events, which is what's great about it. The other thing is that it's meant to create significant knowledge and awareness with the people that you're speaking to at the event. So it really makes an impact and creates some lifetime donors. So the goal of the event, although it's to raise money, is really we want people to come and learn about us, MPS, and the society. And we use a concept called table captains or hosts are used to invite guests. So our volunteer committee consisted mainly of people who their goal was to make sure that they had 10 people at the event. And that's what they were charged with. So there were a lot of people at the event that I had never met and did not know my son Jack, but were there because this was an important cause to a friend of theirs. So it's kind of the concept of really reaching out to many through your friends' friends and their friends, et cetera, and creating a huge base of awareness. So our event outline, we had a short gathering, and we actually held our event in a private home setting. You really need some sort of large room, and we actually sold out. We were full the week of the event and had to turn people away. So we had a really great turnout. We had about 165 people at our event, including our volunteers. And we did it in the afternoon, so we had some appetizers and some wine that were all donated. And we had this short gathering time. And then it was really we're going to start our program. So people sat down, and we had a welcome and a thank you. And then the event starts with an opening emotional hook. And we used the video that you just saw. It came through from our production group 2 days before my event. We had a backup plan, but it came through, and talk about an opening emotional hook, right? I mean, how informative and amazing is that video? And it really was a huge reason on why we were able to raise approximately $50,000 at this event, just by asking just by asking for money. So we had that emotional hook video, and then Terry Klein did our visionary leader speech, and she spoke about the MPS Society, the past, present, and future. And then we had testimonials, and these are meant to really share your story. And so Jeff Bardsley, who is an adult living with MPS and a member of our board of directors, was there, and he shared his story. He visited from Virginia, came to New Mexico for our event, and then I gave a story about what my life was before the society and what it was like having the society. I think we can all agree that we're very lucky to have a group here today that we can share our stories with and learn from each other. And so without the society, some of us, it would be a very difficult road. So I was able to share that story. And then we shared a short video on my son's story. And then what was critical to the event, or the key part of the event, is we spend then 7 minutes doing a pitch. And so everyone at my event received a packet that was a folder, and it had a pledge form for multi-year giving opportunities. So people can give 3 years for $1,000, different giving society levels, as well as one-time gifts. They say at these types of events, by the time you get to the pitch, about 50% of people have decided that they're going to give, and then at various amounts, and then the other 50, may give later. We were very successful. I think we had about 98% giving at the event. So another reason why we were super successful. And literally, it's not being afraid to ask. It's saying, hey, you heard our story, and here's how you can really make a difference. And then you conclude the event, and that's it. And I will tell you that through the videos and the speeches that were done, and the awareness and the education that we gave to many people in the room that knew they were there because they had a friend who had a friend that had a son with a genetic disease, they walked away with so much information about MPS and the MPS Society. So that's what's unique about this, is they really felt inspired. We got so many amazing comments about, oh my gosh, I just didn't get it, and now I get it. People that had no idea, people that felt so inspired and felt so good about their gift and really the difference that it could make. So it was just an outstanding event and a lot of fun. And we got people who want to volunteer for next year to be table captains, so we'll tap into their friends to raise awareness and tap into some new people and new folks. Year after year is the goal. This picture is the pitch or the asks. You can see everyone's looking at their sheets and filling out their forms for their donations here. And the most important thing is find something that you can, looks like my slides got a little bit skewed there. Find something that you can have fun with and that you're passionate about, and something that's doable. And don't be, the whole concept of this ask event is the ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So just because you're taking on an event doesn't mean you have to do everything. Tap into your friends, your family, their friends, their family, and use people around you to help. People feel really good about helping, and it's amazing what a lot of people feel uncomfortable to ask. But most people, when they feel it's an important cause and are knowledgeable about something, are not afraid to give at all. So don't be afraid to make the ask. And in our situation, all we did was share our story and ask. And in less than 2-hour event, we raised $50,000. So a lot of different ways you can raise money. Just a new concept here. So thank you all for your time, and I want to just leave you with, again, please think about leveraging your resources and the fundraising committee, which I'm a member of, and that just because you're having an activity doesn't mean you're on your own and you have to start from scratch. Utilize the committee and other families and copy an event, recreate what they did, leverage from your resources. Don't think you have to do something totally on your own to do something. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Lisa and Brooke, for such inspiring presentations. And as Lisa mentioned, if you have time to stop by the fundraising booth, we have lots of information. There's a lot of information online. The fundraising committee is also looking for new members, and you don't have to be a board member to join the committee. So if you want to just see one of us at the booth, we'd be happy to answer any questions. It's probably a 1 to 2 hour commitment a month for meetings that we do as a conference call. And I thank you for your time.